everybody, welcome back. We're continuing to work on our Country Craft Creations design team project, and we are using Simple Stories Simple Vintage Traveler, and we are making two versions of the same book. One is meant to be viewed in this fashion vertically, and the other one, this one, is meant to be viewed in this fashion. I've gone ahead and done a lot in this book already, so I'm going to work on this one, but anything that's different between the two, I'll show you. And most of them are actually quite similar. And one other thing, and I don't think I've mentioned it as yet, is if you've seen my video that's a walkthrough of my Stamperia Winter Botanic album, and you might have seen it, it was pretty popular, but I'll put a link somewhere on the screen. I always felt bad that I didn't have a tutorial for that album because I didn't have a computer when I made it. So these two albums are essentially smaller versions of that album. That album's bigger than this, but essentially they're the same or quite similar. So if you want to make that album, you just need to do what we're doing here, only bigger. All right, so let's go ahead and get going. Last time we made this little envelope, and I'm running out of magnets, so there may be a few things I can't do today because I forgot to order magnets, but I have ordered them and hopefully they'll come soon. I'm gonna grab my scoreboard. Here's my little guy. And so this page, I've got all my pieces cut out. Let me set aside that one. All right, so this page here, the inside's us. So here's the envelope, and this page here just gets a flap that is a full-sized flap. All right, so let me go ahead, and I'm gonna give you measurements. Cut a piece that is 4.5 by 5 3/4, and this one looks like it's just a hair shorter than that. That falls into that range on my cutter that's a little difficult to cut, so I'm not always as exact as I might like. All right, and then just go ahead. You saw I scored at a 1/2 inch. And I'm just trimming my corners. Like that. You could use score tape, you could use glue. I'm going to use glue. So I've just come home from a full day at work and my eyes are worse than usual. I've mentioned before that I don't see very well. I want to put this down, and I want to be just a little bit in from the base as usual because you do not want to interfere with the page turning properly. Alright, so there's our flip, and that's going to get a magnet. But for now, it's fine. And then, alright, now here's a spot. Okay, there's our flip. This is a spot that's slightly different between the two books, and I will show you the difference. This is a pocket, a narrow pocket. Let me give you the measurements. Is 2 1/4 by 6 3/4. 2 1/4 by 6 3/4. You want to score, set that out of the way. You want to score one long edge at 1/2 inch and both of the short edges, I should say, at 1/2 inch. right. And then this is going to be a vertical pocket. You might want to do a dry fit just to make sure it fits properly. And it looks a hair long, but I think it'll be all right. So I'm going to trim out the corners. Oops, I didn't put my pin back in my glue. And you want to put a dab of glue on the two sides. The bottom up and over. Just hold for a minute until it grabs on. All right. Now this pocket is going to go here. All right. And on the vertical book, that's fine, but on the horizontal book, everything would fall right out. So on the horizontal book, I put it here to the outside, here, okay? So whichever book you're making, just plan accordingly. This is an album that has a lot of pockets. Many of the pages are just a pocket page, very simple. Can't wait to get to matting this because this paper is so pretty that we're working with. I like that sticking up a little bit. That's okay. Here we go. All right, let me show you. In this book, here's that same pocket, and it's the outside. I got a big glob of glue on it somehow, but here's that pocket here. All right. Now, see, I want to make sure I've got the right one. This pocket. Let me set these. Yeah. Make sure I've got the right ones. All right. So this pocket. This is a pocket that goes here. Speaking of having a lot of pockets, and I think I cut this too long. I did. This should be 5 inches. There we go. All right, so 5 inches by 3 inches. And again, score on, whoops, I keep forgetting to put my pin back in my glue. Score 1 long edge and 2 short edges at a 1/2 inch. Whoops. Now this pocket, as I said, is going to go here, and I decided to leave it there even on the horizontal book because I thought it might look cute to have things sticking out sideways from this pocket. I'm gonna pull this over and do a dry fit to make sure the pocket's going to fit. That looks good. Again, you want to let this, just burnish that for a minute until it sticks. Okay, and again, I'm using art glitter glue for all of this, which you can get at Country Craft Creations. It's probably shipping very soon. Can't be shipped in the winter, so it hasn't been shipping for a while, but it should be shipping soon. Or if you prefer, score tape works very well for this too. I should have my white scrap that I usually use when I'm working with dark colors like this. Okay. Be careful, I had a little glue come out there. I don't want to glue my side pocket closed. Okay, there we go. And then on this side, we're going to have another side flap, but this one is short so that you can see some of the paper. And you'll see it, because we're going to score this at 1/2 inch, you'll see even more of it. And then we also have a vertical belly band. Let's go ahead and score those. The flap is going to get scored on one long side at 1/2 inch. And the belly band is going to get scored on both short ends at 1/2 inch. There we go. Oops. Now the belly band, you don't have to trim the corners the way you do on the pockets. You just fold it in and burnish. Of that mess. Now just hang on. I've got a kitty under my table, which I like to avoid. Not sure where she went. I probably should have done this flap first. So, okay, so you wait and do your flap first, and I'll show you why in a minute. But since I've started gluing this, I'm going to put it down. And I am going to, I'm just eyeballing it. There we go. The reason I said to wait is because we need to put a magnet under that to hold this flap. But that's all right. It can easily be done even this way. All right, I'm just going to hold that flap back a couple of times to make it more flexible. Just to make it easier to see this dark the edge of this dark paper. There we go. All right, right there. Looks like I got a little glue there. All right, so there's that. And then this, if I remember rightly, I'm trying to remember, let me look on my other one. I didn't cut anything for that for a reason. I'm trying to think what the reason was. I know, we're going to use a cut apart. This is just got to get a tuck spot. This is going to get a flap, and the flap is dependent on the size of the cut apart. So I'm going to wait and go back to that. All right, and then I have, this is going to be a horizontal belly band. So that, did I give you the measurements on those last ones? I'm not sure I did. I'll go back and give you those. This horizontal belly band is 1.5 by 5. And let me grab this one and give you those measurements. All right, so this flap was 3 3/4 by 5 3/4, and the belly band is 1.5 by 6 3/4. All right. All right. So this is a belly band, and we're going to score it at 1/2 inch on each of these short ends. Okay. Right. That. Now on this, on the vertical version of the book, which is what this one is, I like to put my horizontal belly bands down a little bit low in the bottom third of the page, but if you're doing the horizontal book, put it in the middle, all right? And I'm just dry fitting this, and it looks a little long to me, so I'm gonna rescore it and see if I can make it just a little bit shorter. You can't see what I'm doing. I'm just working that paper to make the fold just a little bit bigger. All right, let's try that. Yes, that's better. I'm gonna put it that low, but and the reason I want you to arrange it that way is on a vertical like this, it just looks better to have it not dead center, but with the book horizontal, I thought it did look better centered, and that's all. So you can always do it however you like, but that's how I recommend you do it. Where's my, I'm looking for my little white napkin. And you can just eyeball it. It still looks like it's hanging over a little, but that's okay. Now, I do want to go back here and show you how to do that magnet, if I have enough magnets. I think I'm down to my last one or two. Let me see. Oh yeah, I don't even have enough to do that. I don't think. I don't. All right, so I'm going to get back to showing you how to do that magnet when my magnet order gets here. All right, so there's that. And let's see, I'm going to leave that. I'm going to go back to that. And this was another vertical pocket, another pocket that goes here. Like I said, this book has a lot of pockets. So let me give you a measurement. Oops. so this is 3 by 5. And score 1 long edge and 2 short edges at a 1/2 inch. Sorry, I should move this so you can actually see. I like pockets in a book anyway, but I particularly like pockets in a travel book, just because I feel like traveling is one of those activities where you tend to collect stuff, or at least I do. I don't buy a lot of souvenirs per se, but little things that I like, even a napkin from a restaurant or a couple of postcards, something like that, that lend themselves well to being put in pockets. I tend to do a lot of books where no 2 pages are alike, but this book does have pages that are, if not exactly the same, they're very similar. It doesn't matter. I mean, I've seen albums where every page was the same and they were beautiful, so it really just depends on how you use your paper. So we can pocket lined up well. All right, there's that. And then our last page, this page, now there's pockets and things that go on the inside covers. But the last page here is going to be a double flap. So let me give you the measurements for that. My fancy blue ruler. I love this ruler. It's so easy to see, especially when you're kind of blind like me. 4.5 by 5 3/4. You need 2 of these. And you want to score each of them on one long side at 1/2 inch. Go. And here we go ahead and the corners. Always be careful not to go past the score line when you're doing this. Now let me show you. Oh, and I forgot to mention here where I put this pocket at the bottom, I made another side pocket on the vertical. I don't think you can even see it. There's a pocket here, and I made another vertical pocket instead for the horizontal book. All right, let me show you what we're doing here. All right, and speak of the devil, there's that pocket. I don't know if you can even see it with this dark paper, but so what we're going to make here is, being careful because the magnets are really strong, is a double flap. Okay, so the way that's going to work, let me go ahead and burnish these over first. Get that out of the way. this mess out of the way here. It's starting to feel cluttered, and I'm sure it doesn't look very nice. Burnish these in both directions. I want them nice and flexible. All right. Now you can sort of play with this and do it exactly how you want. But what I'm going to do is we're gonna, oops, hang on, where's my little girl? What are you doing under there, kitty? Okay. I'm going to attach this to this inner edge, like that. Oops, hang on, sorry, she's being a pest. Where are you going, boo-boo? All right, I'm back. So, whoops, where are you going? All right, so, sorry, she's demanding a lot of attention. All right, so that's gonna go there, and then this one is going to go up here. Okay, so we have a double flap. Hopefully that'll make sense to you. All right, so you've got, all right, here's a piece, here's the score, put that down. All right, so the flap is underneath. And take this piece, where the flap is also underneath, flap is down here on this one. I'm going to put some glue on this one. This made a bit of a mess of that. Okay. So remember, you've got your, here's your fold, it's down. It folds down here. You've got a cut edge here, and you're going to attach this here at the top. And this is not, it's not critical. You can put this folding however you want it to flip flap. I'm just doing it this way because that's how I wanted to do it. Now, what that means is that this cut edge is going to be down into this spine. So what I like to do is go ahead and put it on my trimmer and trim off 1/16 of an inch to 1/8 of an inch, just to give yourself a little leeway there down in the spine. Okay, well, just to make it fold nicer. Then you take some glue, put it on this flap, and you're gonna put this down on this side of this page. Okay, so what you end up with is this large double flap. And this is going to have matting here, matting here, matting here, matting here, and it needs to be stuck to here. So use your biggest, strongest magnets. I don't like using fat magnets in my books. I really don't. I don't like the way they look. I don't like having to try to cover them up. However, that said, in this instance, I will probably be using some fat magnets. If I can get the magnets off of my carton. I think I've mentioned to you before that I've got one of those metal tool carts right off to the side, and I just stick my magnets onto the side of it to store them. And these, I don't know how thick these are, but I think they're like a 1/16 of an inch, and they're too thick for me. I don't care for them, but I'm out of magnets, and they are very strong, so they will work for this. Okay, let's see, grab some tape. And as you can see, I made a bit of a mess tearing the tape because I'm awful at it. Fortunately, all of these pages will be able to have large mats and some embellishments. I'm just going to center this basically right there. And then, anyway, and those will hide a world of sins. Let me grab some scraps here, or at least a scrap, to see if I need one. All right, there's that. Okay, so that's where that's going. And you don't have to use magnets if you don't want to. You could use a tie, you could just leave it with nothing. I mean, you could use some sort of mechanical closure. And as you, I don't know if you can see or not, these are just super fat magnets, which again, I don't like. Whoops, see, that came off. They're so strong. And so I just like to leave a scrap in there. Okay. Let me put a pin back in my glue bottle here. And I'm going to review both of these. Let's see where we're at. So that was catching a little bit. I may need to trim that a little bit more. So here's our envelope. Here is just a flap. Here's a side pocket, or a little vertical pocket. Here's another pocket. Here's a flap with a belly band. We're going to put a magnet there too. We're going to put a tuck here. We're going to make another flap here. But this flap is going to be based on the size of a cut apart. And you'll see it when I do the horizontal flip through, because I've already done it on that book. We have a little horizontal belly band here. I forget what I'm putting here. I drew a blank. It's got to be something based on size. It must be another flap. Yeah, I think it is another flap. And then this has this is a tuck spot. Here's another pocket. And I believe that's tuck spot. I'm not going to open this because I've got that stupid big magnet. And that's our double flap. All right. So that's our vertical book. Let me bring the horizontal book over. And I've got some scraps in here because I've got more magnets in this one. So I'm just going to turn it this way because that's how you'd look at it. So we have our envelope. We have our flap with magnets. We have a pocket. We have another pocket. And this is what I was saying that I thought it would look cute. Looking to see if I have anything that I can demonstrate with. And I've got that. Well, that's not going to fit, but tucked in there. This one's flipping opposite to the vertical book, but here's our flap with belly band. And you can see it's already got its magnet. And this is the one I was saying, it's based on a cut apart. So I cut this flap this size because this is the size cut apart I had. And I'll show that to you in the next video. And then we have, this is the horizontal, on the other book it's a horizontal belly band, and this one's vertical, and I did center it on this one. This is plain, we're gonna add something else there. And this one's plain, this has got a pocket. And then here is our flip out, which this one has the same situation with the super strong magnet in it. I don't want to tear the magnet. There we go. So it just flips out like that. All right, go over something there. All right, and I think I just had this scrap tucked in there. All right, so those are the two books. And when we come back, this will be enough for today. I think that's quite a bit to do. When we come back, we're going to add a lot more mats, and we're going to add the pieces that we haven't, the flaps and things that we're missing. I think we're making pretty good progress though. So whether you're making one or two of these, get caught up, and next time we'll start using a lot more of our pattern papers. I always like when we get to the pretty pattern papers, and that's what's going to be next time. So let me set these aside over there. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and please like this video if you've enjoyed it, and don't forget to hit the notification bell so you don't miss my next video.